The 76th edition of the Cannes International Film Festival is heating up with Retour, that's one of the latest movies to screen at the event. The director, Catherine Corsini, said it's a coming-of-age film set on the island of Corsica. It follows the story of a family of West African origin, but the director is white. Arise correspondent Judita Da Silva asked the first question in the film's press conference earlier. She asked Corsini why she felt she could tell the story of a black family, having never lived that experience.
Well, thank you. I take what you said as a compliment. I don't know how I can really answer your question, though. How can I put things? I love Aïssa too. And I wanted to talk about her daughters. Maybe there's something that strikes me in the cinema. There isn't perhaps enough diversity. And this is dear to my heart because I've made a lot of films already. And I love making films with all the actresses that I chose. And I'll probably do more films with some of the actors and actresses. I felt I have a duty to bring in other faces, other personalities, other people. I'm deeply attached to Aïssa too. And these are things that happen in an instinctive fashion. She's here in this society, very mixed society in which we live. So I think it's important to tell Romanesque stories where there are no stigmas. That's the power of the cinema. And I want all these actresses to be there. I don't make a whole issue about homosexuality or this kind of thing. These are just things that are part of us. I didn't want to feel that I was preaching a given stance. It's just the way I am. I love working with all these different people from different backgrounds, diversity. We're all together in France. There are all sorts of different faces of society today. There are thousands and thousands of different faces and facets, and these actresses are part of the film and these diverse faces that I wanted to film. I don't know whether I've given you a full answer. I always feel sad a bit when I hear this kind of question because, of course, we are progressing. We are better represented in French cinema today. But when will the time come when people cease to ask the question? That, in my mind, is when we'll really have taken a leap forward. We're all human beings. France is made up of people from all sorts of different races and mixed bloods, and that's the way things are.
Well, for more on that press conference and what else is making waves in Cannes, we can now cross live to the south of France and speak with Arise international correspondent Faith Orr. Faith, good to have you on Newsday. You were also at that press conference for Le Retour. How has the film been received?
I think the film has been received quite well here, but I actually want to start by telling you about how Judita's question was received in that room. There was an audible gasp throughout the whole press conference when Judita finished her question. And we had a discussion about whether it was perhaps a bit harsh. But actually, once we left the press conference, there was another reporter from America, a woman who was black, who came up to us, and she thanked Judita for asking that question. So I think it's interesting when you look at that, because that is one of the criticisms surrounding this film, that although the director is white, she is portraying the story of a black family. But it's not just the story of a black family, it is also the story of the director's family. The director's father was Corsican, and she explained that her mother had pretty much forcibly removed her from the island. She said she went back last summer and it was painful, the memories were painful for her to go there. She said it was very complicated. Her father had a love for cinema. That's why she is in the cinema, because she wanted to have that connection. So it's although she's taken parts of her own life story and imposed it on these characters, it is still partly her life story. So I think that perhaps helps in her telling of it. The characters themselves, the woman who played the mother, Asiatu, she said she had worked with Catherine Corsini before, and Catherine said she particularly wanted her to play the part of her mother. So I think a good reception here in Cannes overall, but the press conference certainly interesting earlier.
Thank you so much, Faith. Now, what can we actually look forward to tonight at the festival?
So the earlier screening, 7 p.m, we have got Indiana Jones, which is of course featuring Harrison Ford, and that has just sold out within seconds. I'm going to step out of shot just for 1 second, and I'm going to let our cameraman Naveed just show you what's happening over nearer the Palais de Festival. So you can see that we have lots of people milling around. We actually have the roads blocked off because we're, slightly out of it at the moment. I was over there earlier. There was huge queues going into one screening. Over there is where people gather for the red carpet. It is going to be extremely busy later for Indiana Jones. Once the stars come out, people just, accumulate in their droves. Lots of people still without tickets. Indiana Jones was one of the ones that the tickets disappeared within seconds. Not even up to 1 minute, literally seconds, and there were no tickets left for this screening tonight. One of the later screenings that we are also looking at is Black Flies. It's on at 10:30. And it is going to be Sean Penn's new movie. Now, we heard from the president of the festival, Thierry Frémaux, and he was particularly excited to have Sean Penn return to Cannes as an actor. So that is the later screening.
Now, the issue of female representation in Cannes continues to be a hot topic. What are they trying to do to encourage women in film?
Cannes is one of those festivals that has had several controversies over the years, not least of which the heel gate, when several women were turned away from the red carpet because they didn't have high heels on. And then, of course, we saw a number of A-list stars wearing flats in rejection of that policy. I actually spoke to a woman called Faith Elizabeth yesterday. She is the founder of a campaigning organisation, Yes She Can. And they are here. There's also a female film festival taking place. We were at a talk yesterday by the head of a studio, a woman who's the head of a studio, and that was to try and unite women in film between the UK and Hollywood. So lots and lots happening here. I also spoke to that woman, Holly Laveau, a little earlier. You will be able to hear the full interview on Arise Play once we get that uploaded. It's a bit busy here, but that will be available on Arise Play. Now, she is the chairperson of Catalyst Studios. And that is a studio that is set up particularly to promote diverse filmmakers. So for instance, their first 6 films that they are producing are all being produced by women. And we are hearing that it's important to have women in these leadership roles because that then filters down. So for instance, one filmmaker told me yesterday that she had worked with a senior producer who was a woman who had put in place paid childcare into the budget. And that just isn't something that you tend to get when men are in charge of productions. So there's lots and lots of activity around here, and certainly trying to increase access and increase the ability of women to remain in the film industry, not just here in Cannes, but all over the world.
Now, you can decide not to answer this question, by the way. I'm just letting you know. It's a light one. We did see Johnny Depp get that standing ovation, 7 minutes, if I'm correct, when he was at the Cannes Film Festival, when he arrived. But then we also saw just today about a lot of criticism coming from his fans about his teeth. Do you want to tell us anything about that?
I can only say that I am not Johnny Depp's dentist, so I'm not sure. He was actually also getting a lot of criticism for having his glasses on. When he was on the red carpet, he was, so many people shouting, "Take your glasses off, show us your face, show us your face." So lots of interest in Johnny Depp's face, it would seem.
Noted. Arise international correspondent Faith Orr, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. It's been a pleasure as always.